shadow, walked in darkness, and there the legend began.
Well, there are a lot of popular stories about ninja supernatural abilities. Ironically, there's a little bit of truth to some of these legends.
They could defeat entire armies before the battle was engaged. They were inhabitants of an ancient era. Their legacy survives today. Ninja.
Beyond what is known lies an unexplored world of shadows and phantoms. A land that knows no limits of time or space. From the dawn of discovery to the nightfall of catastrophe. Journey to a universe of the unexplained, the unforeseen, the unbelievable. A place beyond reality where no question will go unanswered. A place where myth and legend are law, superstition a science.
Time for our journey to begin. The ninja. Their knowledge of life made them masters of death. Knowledge surrounds these library walls, and with these instruments, that knowledge can be ours. They were warriors, sorcerers, mystics, assassins. They lived in Japan centuries ago, but their influence is still widespread, though the world they lived in was quite different from the one we know. When we think about ninja, we're apt to imagine this. But ninja are more than creatures of fantasy. They were, and perhaps still are, real practitioners of some mysterious skills.
The term ninja refers to the people who lived in the Iga and Koga regions of Japan, about 500 years ago. They were the ones who practiced the art of ninjutsu, which is the art of stealth. It can also be defined as the art of enduring or persevering. This art developed as a counterculture to the conventional forces at the time. People in this mountain area had been invaded by the, what we could call the military dictatorship at the time. How are you going to fight somebody with that many soldiers, that many weapons, and so forth? They had to come up with their own unique approach.
The ninja were considered the ultimate outsiders, a religious sect whose violent skills could be bought and turned against an opponent. They believed in absolute discipline of the mind and body, spiritual convergence that did much to enhance their reputation.
I would say that the spiritual side of the art is one of its most important aspects. The philosophy of being able to endure, to put up with, to persevere in the face of things that would otherwise cause people to cease.
Besides these spiritual values, the ninja also possessed weapons of frightening power, many of which have passed down through the ages, weapons deceptive in appearance, but lethal in intent. Many ninja weapons had more than one use. Canes held hidden blades. Hand claws were used to climb and fight. Throwing stars were tossed to make a noise and mislead a pursuer. Thrown at a person, these stars caused quite distracting injuries. These barbs, called caltrops, were strewn behind the ninja during escapes. In an era when everyone wore thin sandals, stepping on caltrops was painful indeed. Besides their weapons, the ninjas' tactics did much to enhance their fearsome reputation, and they took full advantage of that legend. Once inside, ninja would use trapdoors to retrieve previously hidden weapons, and then lie in wait until the time was right to strike. Any ninja home was full of secret rooms, hidden passageways, and if captured, suicide and self-mutilation were common. Their identity was always kept secret. The ninja were also feared as hypnotists, and their intense concentration was said to be able to transfix their victims before the killing blow. Though they acted alone, the ninja were often allied with warring political factions, and these alliances, coupled with their secrecy, sometimes led to confusion.
There's a legend that had the ninja as hired espionage agents or hired assassins and so forth. Again, this is not quite the true history, although it shows up in a lot of books. What we have to recall is that the person who wins the battle is the one who hires the historians to tell his story. Actually, the ninja were not hired out as such. They formed alliances, just as we in the United States would form an alliance with European countries and call it NATO. So the samurai lords, the powerful ones who were moving around vying for ultimate control of Japan, used these families to their benefit, as the families used these powerful lords to their own.
The ninja turned warfare inside out, and their myth began almost the first night of their existence, and that myth survives today. Legend has it that a ninja could escape any bonds, live underwater or walk upon it, fly through the air, transform into an animal or insect. How do they accomplish such superhuman feats? We'll reveal their secrets. In the United States, the ninja are known as assassins in black. In Japan, they're remembered more for their powers of illusion and sorcery, for extraordinary powers like these. Though the ninja apparently possessed skills that defy rational analysis, many of their abilities involved manipulating their natural environment. For example, their ability to live underwater can be explained by a simple but effective breathing tube made of bamboo. Their legendary skill of walking on water, easily accomplished by the use of crude pontoons strapped over the feet, and their most awe-inspiring legend, the ability to transform into an animal, can be attributed to a canny sense of animal mimicry and the confused recollections of their terrified victims. When the ninjas were deployed, they overwhelmed their opponent through a combination of stealth, applied force, and a mysterious way of sensing their victim's fatal weakness, and then taking lethal advantage of it. Beside their deadly weapons, the ninja could manipulate their physical environment and turn any innocent object into a killing advantage.
I would say the main difference between ninjutsu and other martial art forms is its comprehensiveness. For instance, in the sport of judo, it's a grappling, throwing art. Ninjutsu never had a sport application. It's very self-protection oriented. There aren't any of the rules.
The ninja did more than break all the rules of warfare. Their strange powers and abilities led many to believe that they had somehow acquired supernatural abilities.
Well, there are a lot of popular stories about ninja supernatural abilities. The ability to fly through the air, or turn invisible, or levitate over swamps, and so forth. Ironically, there's a little bit of truth to some of these legends. They would take some of these stories, come up with mechanical tricks to simulate this as a way to psychologically devastate the enemy. A lot of times their intelligence gathering gave them information that other people didn't know they had. So therefore they were seen as being able to travel through time and space, or read minds, and so forth.
Their secrecy helped to encourage their legend. Superhuman abilities and brilliant tactics did much to keep it alive. It is no wonder that many looked to magic to explain their stealth, their cunning, their physical prowess. Another of their magical abilities might be attributed to their use of potions, such as this powder. Under analysis, these skillfully blended ingredients betray their purpose. In this case, a narcotic sleeping potion, perfect for drugging a victim into insensibility, making kidnapping a much easier process. These potent powers of the ninja have survived the ages. In Japan today, ninjutsu and other similar martial arts are still practiced, their secrets still explored. But today, this very personal combat has become a bloodless spectator sport, a far cry from an era when a moment's lapse in concentration could mean instant death. For example, in this special tournament, 46 different schools from Roro, Japan have gathered together to celebrate and commemorate a once vital martial past. And for the children of Japan, the ninja legend has been kept alive as well. At festivals like this, the world of the ninja has been transformed into a theme park. And what was once deadly has today become almost cuddling. Here, families can view ninja weapons and try to connect their modern-day experience with that of their feudal past. Ninjas have been absorbed into this modern culture in some unusual ways, not the least being their transformation into cartoon figures, like this piggy character named Ninja Hattori. Perhaps the precise definition of ninja is in the eye of the beholder. With all their caution and skill, what happened to the ninja? Did they vanish? Are they in hiding? It may be that they still exist today. Do ninjas still exist? When Japan's warring states were unified in the 17th century, the ninja, traditionally known, disappeared. Yet fascination with them still goes on, especially in the United States, where there are ninja movies, TV shows, books, magazines, and stores. At first glance, one might think that we had accidentally journeyed back into time. But this is the present day, and these men are not fighting their battles in the mountains of Japan. No, they're training on the plains of Ohio in the United States. This is a Ninja Summit, one of the many annual gatherings that take place all across the United States. And this is the face of a modern-day ninja.
I find with it, it's a great physical way to express my body. to utilize my body, to feel how it harmonizes with another person or with a new situation.
I see other martial arts as very stylized. You have to take a certain set of principles and force your body to adapt to those principles. Whereas in ninjutsu, you take certain principles and adapt them to your life.
In the other martial art that I was involved in, I had become a very rigid person. Ninjutsu has helped me to become a more relaxed, caring, and loving person.
The Japanese are somewhat amused at this American obsession, and their television has documented the occasionally ridiculous misconceptions that many Westerners have about the ninja's abilities.
Ninja は高いビルに飛び上がれる。そして一瞬にして消える。そして車を持ち上げることもできる。
However, most American ninjas agree that there are great misconceptions about their heritage.
I think one of the most horrifying misconceptions is the demonic cultist image. That really bothers me because it's completely the opposite of that. It's really not that at all.
Almost all of the ones I've come in contact with have been very positive and very friendly.
So many times you see in the movies and on TV and pictures and books and magazines of people dressed up in full black uniforms from head to toe, even with masks on, and their hands covered down to their fingers. Well, that was 500 years ago, maybe.
No matter what the perception is, the ninja seem to represent an ideal, a way of life that is apparently as compelling today as it was 400 years ago. And in America, at least, the past is very much alive. Today's ninja is a very different animal from the one who disappeared centuries ago. And why does that ninja maintain such a hold on our thoughts and imagination? The ninja vanished long ago, and yet our fascination with them remains strong. They first appeared in the 1500s in Japan, and they could be viewed as an historical phenomenon, a response to the wars of reunification that have created modern Japan. But as we have seen, the ninja are very much alive today, in legend and in reality.
I would imagine that a lot of the interest in the ninja arts today has to do with the political, economic, even moral climate of the times. A lot of the things that people have believed in the past, certain political structures, religious structures, laws and so forth, don't seem to be doing the job that a lot of people believed they would. So I think there's a lot of inspiration in this lone warrior that can move silently about his or her own life and accomplish the things behind the scenes.
It's ironic that in a day and age where terrorism is a frightening reality, that a band of medieval terrorists could become role models. But the ninja's dedication and fanatic discipline still has an allure, and their continued existence is an interesting comment on just how far man has progressed since the 1500s.
I think one of the most unfortunate things that's happened with the books and movies and magazines and so forth is that people perceive this art as being one of ultimate violence, and it really isn't at all. It wasn't developed for the sake of having a new or another martial art. It wasn't developed for the sake of teaching people how to be sneaky or how to run around in a black suit. It was developed as a way to protect that joy and that beauty that these families wanted in the past and that we certainly all want for our children today.
Perhaps the ninja fascinate us because they show that we're capable of far more than we usually attempt. Each ninja symbolizes what one person can accomplish, even in the face of enormous odds. The ninja prove that one person can make a difference. Are the pathways of the ninja something to be feared or followed? No one can say for certain. But then, that's just how a ninja would want it.
Secrets and Mysteries presents information based in part on theories and opinions, some of which are controversial. The producer's purpose is not to validate any side of an issue, but through the use of actualities and dramatic recreation, relate a possible answer, but not the only answer, to this material.